Okay, welcome back, viewers, to Heads Up. This is our first session with a software package called Zoom, and I reckon Goat, they reckon sliced bread was probably the best ever invention, but I think this software beats it hands down. You don't lose, you don't put on weight, and it's much cheaper as well. So welcome aboard, Goat. Good to see you.
Yeah, likewise, Neil. The new technology we've got here, hopefully the viewers will enjoy it. Makes it a bit easier for us to interact with one another and easier for you to upload and record and edit and get rid of all those bloopers.
Bloopers are half the fun. Just don't swear too much, that's all. Right, touching on last week, you were at the track last week, weren't you, at Trentham?
I was,
pretty good
yeah,
day on TV.
actually at Trentham. Yeah, it was good. The weather was great. Good racing. Track still favoured the inside a bit, but a few horses defied that pattern. But no, I really enjoyed that day. We were in a nice marquee out by the back parade ring, and yeah, good atmosphere. Didn't even go into the stands to watch one race, just watched them either live past the post up on the rail or on the TV, and just a good fun day. And you're probably still lamenting, Neil, when will Rock on Wood get out?
Don't mention those words. No, I'm still getting counselling over that. Jesus Christ, if it got out, would he have won? How far would it have been, wouldn't it, I reckon, if it got out? But it's racing. Good on Sean Mackay for stacking them and then putting the pressure on before the post, before the turn.
Serious question, though, Neil. It needs to be asked.
Yeah.
The fact that you can't protest when the jockeys blatantly abused the whip rule, that has to change, surely.
Of course it has. Look at Winspell. He lost by a head. And Sean, you can't blame him. No, he did what he did to get the Group 1 win. He gave him a few, and you could see the horse put in the strides to put that length or length and a half on them. And if he couldn't do that, in my opinion, he wouldn't have won the race if he wasn't able to do that, if he didn't do that. So I agree. It's got to change. Something's got to change.
Yeah, I'd say what will change is the whip will be removed altogether from a persuasive nature, but frustrating if you follow the rules and someone else breaks them and you only go down a short margin. But that is another way for punters to feel aggrieved, as we always do from time to time.
Same case with Salsify. Trudy Thornton broke the rule too. You got to find both get fined $1,000 on a couple of weeks holiday, and whether she would have still beaten the good fight, you don't know. But yeah, it's got to be sorted
out. Great story, Salsify. The colours of Kiwi and the same saddlecloth from memory, number 12 was it? The same saddlecloth as he wore to win the 1983 Wellington Cup. Yeah. So bit of symmetry there. Yeah. But the Telegraph, Avantage, just too good, really.
That's too good, yeah. Great ride by Opie. Got to run with 3 wide with cover. But you got to give it to Enzo's lad, don't you? Just had to work to get round to the front, kicked and fought back hard. The TAB bookies sounded like they would have taken a big hit if he had held on. So, no, it was a good day's racing. And I was keen on Sensei, but he was slow out. Got a sort of a check mid-race, and that was the end of him. But good day's racing. And yeah, third day tomorrow, just a low-key meeting. But looks like this decent weather certainly helps, doesn't it? Getting a decent surface to race on. And, best horses usually win. Got to find them, that's all, don't we? Okay, now you also, the Kansas City Chiefs. Last week you were pretty keen, very keen actually, -7.5. What was the final score?
Can't remember, but they won by 11, I know that much.
Yeah, 35-24. 35-24 was.
Yeah, I think they were down 10-0 early from memory, but as we suggested, 10-0 and 17-7, I think. So their firepower, their ability to score points quickly came through again in the second part of that game, and they were too good. And it's going to be a good Super Bowl, pretty evenly matched teams, Kansas City and San Francisco. So it's Monday week, the 3rd of February. So we'll have a preview of that next week on the show. And would you believe, Neil, despite the weather out there being about 25 degrees, Super Rugby starts next week. Can you believe that?
Incredible. Incredible. Geez, they'll be wanting breaks every 15 minutes, won't they, to have a beer, to have a decent break, because it's going to be bloody hot work. Good on them. Well, they
Sure
get
is.
paid well, so why not?
But anyway, yeah, we won't give out a sports tip this week. We'll just keep our powder dry. We are back on the
Good on that. Pace yourself.
right page.
Make sure you pace yourself tomorrow on Saturday too, young fella.
Oh, well, here we go.
That's
Saturday.
true.
Let's bring up these fields. How good
Yep.
is the 6-race card at Ellerslie going to be? You've had your nose in the form guide for much of the day. So I'd suggest you've done a lot of study, you've analysed, and all the things that you need to do to find a winner. Karaka Million 2-year-old goes at 6:30.
Yep.
What are you going to tell us?
6:30. Yeah. No, it's well, the first thing I was keen on doing was just working out the speed, Matt, and more importantly, the tempo of the race. Last year they went out on 35.17 for the first 600, and they came home in 34.7 off the front, which set it up for Popperbeal, who came from 10th outer and won it in 33.85. Now I reckon they will go at least that fast in the first 600 metres, so it's got to set up for a good horse that can get off the pace, get a good run, and get out in the motor home. And the obvious one to me has got to be Not an Option. Same barrier draw, funnily enough, but he's drawn 14, but I can see Lee Finnis getting him out. He's got early pace, so he can get out. I'm sure he won't go forward because he's in big danger of getting caught wide. So I can see him sitting back, same place as probably. 10th outer, 10th 3 wide cover, and looking to come with the last one of them. Because when he won at Trentham, geez, the way he let down, that was like a really good horse. Remember that at Trentham?
Yeah, and the Wakefield Stakes from memory.
Yeah.
Yep. Barrier draws, people seem to perhaps overreact and go cold on horses. What do you reckon about this theory, Neil? This race is very different from any other thoroughbred race in New Zealand other than the 3-year-old Million, in the sense that the connections effectively got to choose their own draws in a drawn out order. But if you watch the draw on Wednesday, the first horse drawn basically chose 1, second horse chose 2, and it was effectively like that, apart from 1 or 2 horses just choosing one more vacant spot than they could have, or one more spot on the outer. Do you think that means that those horses drawn inside have an obligation that they kind of have to use those draws and go forward because they effectively chose them?
Well,
and
I
with
think
that
so.
more speed in the race?
Yeah, I think you're right, because all of those horses do have early speed. Maybe Dragon Queen wouldn't look at leaving or being first, second, third, but all those horses do have early pace. So yes, you're right. They've got to go, handlebars down early to get that good spot, because from that good draw, you've got to make the most of it, which I really do think it'll set up for a closer because of those reasons and other reasons. You got Amor Fata
I like another closer actually for a place.
Which one is that?
A horse called Taroni.
Taroni. Okay. Tell us why.
Same colours is not an option. Just the way I know its track work's been good. It went a good gallop in its exhibition gallop on Monday at Ellerslie. Yep. I think it's on the improve. It's been round Ellerslie. $3.20 a place. I think it's into $3 now. Someone's had a bet. Don't know.
4 place divvies too, isn't it?
4 place divvies. Give the TAB. We're going to bag the TAB later around one of their horses' prices, but that 2-year-old place market opened at 410%, which isn't bad when you're giving out 4 divvies. So it's quite a competitive place market. So I thought 320 Taroni, pretty good.
Yeah, no.
Mick D, he can ride, can't he?
He's not too bad, is he? No, he's done well over in Australia, so he's full of confidence, great judge of pace. So. And it's going to take a really good experienced rider like him to be able to slot in and get over them. So there's going to be early pace inside him. Fascinating race. I think Cool as a Bear, I really like the way he looked at Tauranga. Nice stride in him, got a nice low. He really lets down. He lets down with a nice, good action, daisy cutter sort of action. And he's drawn 2. Opie's on him. He's got to be the main danger. Not a lot. So they want to play that song. Philly, James is on him. He's keen to get that.
Yeah, we haven't touched on the $1.90 favourite, $1.95 favourite. Drawn perfectly. Why are we staying away from that, Neil?
Oh, just a value point of view from mine. I think when I first saw when the draws came out, I thought, yes, she's got to be hard. But her action, I'd like to see it on a dead 4, dead 5, just with a higher action. And I think Cool Isabel will prefer a good 3 track. So, with a good tempo, I think Cool Isabel may have played that song's measure, but I think not an option. Could have both their measure anyway.
The 3-year-old completes the card on Saturday night, the Crack A Million 3-year-old classic. 3 horses stand out in terms of the market, those being Harlock, Conqueror and Probabile. Thoughts on this race, Neil?
The plenty of pace, isn't there, with Pamlico and Al Creed going forward. There's 2 or 3 others there that will go forward as well. So if they I think they might try and button off mid-race. Those horses might just whip around or take it over if they have to. So going to be at least an even tempo. And gee, Probabile on her form in Australia to run. She should have won that Group 2. I thought she had won that Group 2. I think circumstances didn't allow her to win that Group 1 race. But none of these would, none of those fillies. She's a top class 3-year-old. So I think second up, she will definitely improve, won't she, off that run fresh up at Awapuni, where she was slow out and scrubbed up and won pretty well in a weaker field, but she's class, isn't she? We know that.
Yep. Hey, the Aussies won this race last year with Longleaf, James McDonald, same trainers.
Yeah.
Winter Bride was well backed in the railway, could have won, but didn't. Yep. You see the price of Conqueror staying about where it is, or do you think with the Aussie money it will come in, or do you think they recognise it as being a horse that might get run off its feet and need a bit more ground? What do you reckon?
Well, I think we look at his runs, and he does have early speed, so I can see him being 3 back in or 6 outer. And with the even tempo, I think James is going to move early and try and make it a grinding finish, because if he waits, probably will just flash by him. So I think he's going to put the pressure on early and make her chase him down and fight it out hard. But I can't really see him beating Probabile. So
what about if Probabile's 3 wide with cover coming up to the 600, say, and Harlock's on her tail, do you think he could outsprint her over the last 400?
No.
No. Okay. Here's your answer, ladies and gentlemen.
No, I think she just her sectionals when she was a 2-year-old one, top class, and she's.
Would you be putting 50,000 on it?
Maybe of your money, not mine. No, it was the last race, isn't it?
$50,000 bet. Yeah, $50,000 bet going on today. So we'll see how that plays out.
That 195, wasn't it? So
yeah.
The Aussies know Probabile, don't they? So they may be divided between Probabile and Conqueror. So no, it's going to be a great race to finish on. There's going to be a lot of money going on and a lot of money made. And if one of those 3 horses don't win, the bookers will be smiling. Right. Okay, last week's question was, who was the rider who had ridden 3 Thorndon Miles? 3 Thorndon Mile winners, wasn't it?
Yep.
The answer was?
In the last decade.
Last decade, yep.
The answer was the Smiling Assassin, Rosie Myers. Can't remember what the horses were now. Historian.
Say No More, was it?
Say No More and The Old Floozy. That's it. It's amazing how it comes back to you. Okay. So, what we have 5 people, Neil?
Yep.
Get that right?
Yep.
1 to 5. Here. 1 to 5.
Give me a number.
Pedro in?
No, he's not.
Oh, that's good then. We'll go number 4.
Number 4, Dave P. Subscriber. Good on you, Dave. I'll just give you a big tick. I'll tell you what, Dave, if you can, if you see this heads up, I'm sure you will, before Saturday, 9 a.m. Let me know what your multi you want, and I'll put it on for you. $20 multi. So get on to me quick, and I'll put it on for you. Otherwise, if you're here by 9 o'clock Saturday morning, I'll put it on for you.
Have we got enough in the coffers to give away a prize again for our second Zoom podcast? Is it still called a podcast, or is it now a vidcast?
Vidcast. I think they're called vidcast.
Vidcast.
Anyway.
Gee.
I think
they're coming up in the world.
Our
second
TV
vidcast.
now.
Let's give away another multi as per the norm.
Yep.
Question, simple one. First ever Crack a Million 2-year-old. The horse did what Neil is hoping Not an Option will do, win from the outside barrier. You want to know the name of that horse who won the first ever Crack a Million and won it from the outside barrier.
Outside barrier. Oh, there you go. What probably last year. Maybe it's the place to be. Just goes to show it's not impossible. Okay, so 027 352 6402 or formpro.co.nz. You guys and gals know the routine. So get it in by Monday night, and you'll be in the draw for next week's multi. Rightio, quick bats and bouquets. You can kick off.
I'll kick off. I think it was pretty well known that the Boys Get Paid Punters Club were considering a large bet on Catalyst to generate a bit of interest and publicity and the like. Now you've got to remember, Neil, this Punters Club's 1,000 different people. It's not one person. So if the Punters Club won $500,000, if you won $500,000, you'd withdraw most of it and you'd spend a bit, but you'd withdraw it and buy a boat, a house, whatever.
Yeah.
If this Punters Club wins $500,000, it gets spread back to over 1,000 people and straight back into their TAB accounts. I would have thought, is Catalyst really a $1.10 shot? All the prices in Australia suggested no, $1.50, $1.60. Pretty confident the reason why Catalyst went up $1.10 was the fear of Boys Get Paid having a big lash. Poor form, in my opinion. Give people a chance. But anyway, they can do what they like. But you do ask the question, well, should we had some money in a side account in case we found some substantially better odds offshore? Crazy thing for me, Neil, every other favourite price is basically within QE, 10 cents, 20 cents. But you and I know the difference between $1.60 and $1.10 is huge. So it just seemed a bit off to me. So anyway, we live with it and we move on.
I'm sure he'll drift. Well, he's got to drift, doesn't he? Maybe $1.20, $1.30, because he's got 60 and a half kgs, and he's drawn 7. There's good pace inside him. There is a chance he could get 3 wide, caught 3 wide in the open. And in running, I'm sure he'd be closer to $2 than he would be to $1. So $1.10 is just farcical. I thought it was talk $1.20. I thought I'd give it a crack, but when other markets have $1.40, it just pisses people off, pisses the punters off, Kiwi punters off, doesn't it, really?
Anyway, you've probably got a much more pleasant bouquet to hand out.
Yep, I want to give it out. Luke Kemmy's head honcho of BGP, and you and Ted are going to be helping him out on the Punters Club on Saturday. And gee, $240,000. I've run Punters Clubs before, you have too, but never to this extent. You've only got 6 races, so you've got to, right from the get-go, you've got to be getting stuck in. And they aren't really easy fares. The first race, you've got Georgia 3, then Catalyst. Then it gets a bit harder from there. So as long as a bit of lady luck's on your shoulder, so win or lose, good on you for giving it a crack and fronting up. Well done.
I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to most, Neil, about the night now. Oh, hold on a second. I've got to do something. Why is my computer?
Hold everything. It's going to be a fine day on Saturday anyway, and Sunday and Monday. And let's hope the BGB punters are all happy and getting paid out big time. So, would you go for a quick one, did you? Or?
Yeah, battery low came up. I was worried we're going to lose our whole recording.
Oh, shit. Well saved.
What I'm looking forward to most is the room that will be on top of the public stand, the 400 guys and girls, the camaraderie, the positivity, the community, the good times, the socialising, the yahooing, the chanting, and all that stuff. It will be an absolutely electric atmosphere, and can't wait, to be honest. Win, lose or draw on the punt and the punters club, it's going to be a cracking night.
Yeah, and I imagine if you have a good punt in the last race, say on probability, which you have already anyway, and you may have some more money on her by that stage. So, and if she wins, it's just going to be like a mountain erupting. It's going to be huge excitement, huge roar.
Might not have to buy a drink in the after party, you reckon, Neil?
Drink for the rest of your life, probably. Yeah.
Tell you what, the fireworks, the party afterwards, great. It is the best atmosphere of any race meeting in New Zealand, I believe. Yeah. If you haven't been, like you, make sure you do get along.
I'll definitely get along one day, maybe next year, if things work out the way they could be. So, no, looking forward to that. So, right, next week we'll have a good summing up a bit and pluses and minuses, and hopefully you got a big bag of cash you can show us. Everybody's won. Anything else you want to add before we sign off?
No, can't think. Yeah, well, hey, that doesn't stop, actually. We've got a big day at Taranaki next Saturday, the Taranaki Cup Day. So another day there. Plenty going on, Neil, that's for sure. But I must say, we should give a bouquet to the Zoom technology. This is much more fun, I have to say.
Oh, it is. I mean, I can see your ugly mug and you can see mine too. It's just makes it easier to interact and give each other a bit of crack. Anyway, thanks for watching, people. And next week we'll summarise the big day at Ellerslie. Hopefully it's a really positive one, and I'm sure it will be. Sayonara.